All right, and we are good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rebel Radio podcast. My name is Ashton Holloway, and we are here today with Oh You Pretty Things. We have Joe and Callie. How are you guys doing today?
Doing
Hello.
good.
We're good.
I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad that you guys were able to hop on and do this today. Now, I know you guys have been performing for quite a while, but I do kind of just want to start from the beginning. So, who started this project to begin with?
I guess
Callie.
the two of us, but I guess technically me. I'm the one that was like, "Hey, let's do this. Let's start a band and see where it goes."
It's awesome. And so, where does the name "Oh You Pretty Things" even come from?
That's it's a David Bowie song. Um,
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, and we had been going back and forth for a while on what we wanted to name the project, and nothing was really sticking. And so on a ride home from practice one day, I heard the song for the first time, and the chorus just kind of comes out of nowhere and kind
Yeah.
of slaps you in the face, but in a enjoyable way. Um, and I called her and I said that the name of our band is All Your Pretty Things, and she agreed.
Yeah. It definitely yeah, one of my favorite Bowie songs, but also like Joe said, like it starts in one place, very like piano and just vocals, and then the chorus comes in and it's a rock song, and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? And we
Mhm.
just felt like that fit the project and our music. So we were like, that's it.
Yeah, we have
That's
a
awesome.
lot of. We often call ourselves chameleon core, so things can take unexpected turns.
For sure.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, you guys definitely have a very distinct sound. And, I am a little curious though, like, who would you say that you take inspiration from?
Ooh, that's tough because we pull inspiration from everywhere.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah, try
feel like
we
Okay.
try and pull as many places as we possibly can.
yeah, I
Okay.
feel the whole band, like the main genre that we all listen to and pull a lot from is like classic rock. Like we've all grown up on it and that's like the main genre. But like we definitely like I'm very much like the emo pop punk like metalcore like that kind of inspiration. Joe
Hmm.
gets a lot of like blues and folk and that kind of inspiration. So we all pull from a ton of different artists and genres and just kind of make it our own and make
Yeah.
it work.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, see, like even me, I grew up on a lot of like the early 2000s pop punk emo kind of stuff. And you
Hell yeah.
definitely have incorporated that sound and modernized it your own way. And that's why I really appreciate the newest record that you guys put out with Refocus Reframe. I think that EP specifically really does stand out to me. But what is the story behind that EP specifically?
Okay, so I guess I'll take it.
Yeah.
Picture that we used for the album artwork is actually a picture of me from Halloween, like 1999 or 2000. But essentially, the whole project is a lot of songs that are very vulnerable to me writing the lyrics. But I essentially was giving myself closure for a lot of situations and relationships and things that I never got closure from. So it was
Mhm.
all kind of just like revisiting these situations, these feelings, and kind of like giving myself that closure that I never got. And essentially, the whole was just like a message to refocus the future and reframe it however you so choose. So it's kind of closing a chapter or multiple chapters from the past and just refocusing on what's in the future.
Wow, that's powerful. And I
Thanks.
think music is such a beautiful thing, especially with the way that you're able to express yourself on some of the more personal songs on the record.
Thank
And
you.
I am a little curious to what songs mean the most to you from the record though. Like which ones would you say have the most personal meaning?
Man, that's tough. Um, all of them definitely have a very special place for me. Um, I feel like New Year's Eve is definitely a big one, a very vulnerable one. Get Me Gone is another big one. Oh, I mean, all of them really have like their own place. Like they all are very, very special to me. But I feel like those might be like my big two. And
Mhm.
then Choke. I feel like Choke was the last one that we really like had come together, and it came together so quick and easy, and I just like had all of these emotions of like just this anger and everything, and it just like we perfectly executed the way that I was feeling.
Mhm. That's awesome. And so, Joe, what were some of your favorite songs to work on when you guys were first making the EP?
Well, so that's the thing. A lot of these songs we've been playing for 4 or 5 years. And the lineup on the EP is kind of what our show lineup or set list has been essentially for the last like 2 years or so.
Mhm.
Um, uh, Choke being the newest one, I think we wrote within the last year. But that's the thing. It's like trying to pick a favorite kid. I don't know. They all really push me to write differently because without this project, I wouldn't normally write music that sounds like this, as
Mhm.
heavy and hard as it goes sometimes. Um, so like Choke, definitely, I think I was most proud of, and just like how good that came out in the end, and how like satisfied I was with it. But other than that, I think Get Me Gone is probably always going to be my favorite.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the
Yeah.
first songs we ever wrote. It's the hardest 3 chord blues lick you've ever heard on an electric guitar, and it just makes me so happy to play it.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm really glad to hear, and I can definitely hear the progression and the growth within the sound compared to some of the like the older stuff that you guys had. But what would you say is the difference in approach between the EP and the past singles that you guys put out before?
I really feel like it's probably the fact that like we were a full 5-piece band. Like going into the EP, like Get Me Gone is one of the first songs that Joe and I ever wrote. However, what it originally sounded like with just the two of us playing it versus like the full band bringing it to life, like we've really been able to kind of write and just grow our sound with a more like a fuller sound, and
Yeah.
definitely be able to convey the emotion in the lyrics and like the overall like tone of the songs a lot better now that all of us can put our heads into it in the writing process.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
that's the thing. It's like Callie and I generally, like, our writing process will be kind of at least just craft the song so that it has a beginning and a middle and an end. And then we
Uh-huh.
take it to the rest of the band and, change it all up, add the sound to everything, add everybody's personal inputs. Like, I'm not a very good drummer. So all of our like demo drums are horrible. When I bring them to the drummer, I'm like, please change them, make them sound a thousand times better, than what I can do. So yeah, it's a lot better having a collaborative effort of everybody putting in their ideas. And that's the thing too. It's like, that doesn't work for everybody. It doesn't work for every band, but for our band, it's like no idea is off limits. No one's idea is stupid or will get laughed at or whatever. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, everyone will know it doesn't work. We're not going to force it.
Our band motto is literally fuck around and find out, and we truly mean that in like every aspect. Like Joe said, like nothing is off limits. If somebody has an idea, fuck it, let's try it and see how it goes, and we
Yeah.
might all be like, yes, that is right, or we'll go with somebody else's idea and be like, no, that is what sticks.
Yeah.
And it's never anything personal. It's all just like we leave our egos at the door, and it's just like what is best overall, like what do we all want for the band, or what is the best fit for the song. Everybody's input is welcome, and then we all kind of go from there.
I think that's where a lot of the best work comes from, though, is whenever you're able to just say fuck it and just go for what you wouldn't usually do, right? Especially
Yeah.
whenever you're trying to think outside of the box, especially when you're working in a genre where everything is saturated and everything's already been done, right? It's like, how do you modernize the sound? How do you make it your own? How do you bring something that is different whenever everybody else is doing the same thing? And
Right.
that's something that I definitely struggled with when I was playing music as well, right? And I think you can definitely hear like the passion in the music that you guys have been putting out more recently. But what would you say makes you guys different or more dynamic than the other bands that are out there right now?
I feel like the fact that we don't stick to just one genre, like we're not trying to just recreate like like we said, like 2000s pop punk is a huge inspiration for me. We're not trying to write every single song like it's, you know, a pop punk banger from Warped Tour from back in the day. Like, yeah, we definitely have one or two that lean that way, but we're not trying to craft our entire EP album, like everything around sticking in those boxes per se. It's
Mm-hmm.
more so whatever we feel inspired by, whether it's more of like a slower blues jam or it's fast and hard hitting with a crazy breakdown. Like the sky's the limit. So we're really just like whatever we feel inspired by, we go that way. And I feel like a lot of bands will fall into kind of being a genre band where they're
Yeah.
like, oh, we know that this sound works for us, so we're just going to keep writing that and just keep. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There have been some killer bands and albums that succeed very well in doing that, but I just don't feel like that's our vibe. Like we really are like whatever feels right, that's what we're going to pursue. And if it's completely different than the last song, so be it.
Yeah. It we have like two kind of simple guidelines that I feel like we go by, and that's what's best for the song and what would we want to listen to? What do we want to play? What interests us? We're playing for a crowd, right? But we're not writing for a crowd. We're writing for ourselves first. You know, we always want to have fun and we always want to challenge ourselves. And if people come along for the ride afterwards, you know, that's great. It's like the perfect combination of not forcing it, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Wow. This is really refreshing to hear, honestly, because I mean,
Thanks.
look, I've had a lot of bands on here, and it just being able to kind of hear this perspective of what you guys are feeling and thinking, it's so much more different from a lot of even the scene out here where I'm at in San Antonio. It's very
Okay.
much of what you were saying about it being like genre driven. I mean, people trying to stick to a certain sound and stick to a certain demographic and a certain kind of scene where it's hard to kind of break out of that bubble. And it's like they don't realize the bigger picture, and that there's more out there than just these little local shows that you're playing. And don't get me wrong, you have to play these local shows. You
Yeah.
have to start off building
Absolutely.
some kind of like loyal fan base to even grow numbers and become successful in your scene. But what would you say have been some struggles that you guys have had to deal with since taking the band more seriously?
Ooh. I mean,
Yeah, I think Callie might have more to say
it
about that than me.
it definitely, I mean, obviously first and foremost as a female, the music industry, let alone specific genres of music, are not the most welcoming and not the most friendly. And like we said, we could hop on a bill and be the heaviest band, or we could hop on a bill and be the lightest band. Like, we could go so many different ways with our sound and our genre, and some crowds are far more welcoming, some are definitely not. But again, that goes with, we're not trying to fit into a specific genre. We're not trying to please a certain demographic audience. If you resonate with our sound and our message, then hell yeah, welcome on. And if you don't, okay, we'll keep it pushing. We're just not your cup of tea, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, aside from the obvious misogyny that is in the music industry, I feel like it's a lot of just the marketing and the saturation and all of that. Like in this day and age, technology has such a huge say in whether or not like bands are going to blow up or not. So
Mhm.
it's just kind of navigating the ever changing atmosphere on like, okay, well, if making TikTok videos or hopping on these trends are what's going to get us out to a bigger audience, then okay, I guess that's what we're going to have to do. But it's really just like the day-to-day navigating of what we need to do to stay above water, I guess. But
Mhm.
like Joe said, at the end of the day, like we do this because music is our favorite thing and we love it and we have fun doing it. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and we're just going to ride the wave.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I can even say, like, for myself, when I was making music with the band that I was with, it was fun at first because we all loved it, right? But at some point we forgot why we were doing it. It started to become such of a business thing where you do make it about the marketing, you do make it about the shows and making money and trying to make a profit and bringing in people and bringing in numbers to the point where you honestly forget that, we're here because we love the music. You're here because it helps you, because you have a message that you're trying to spread. And even myself, I can say personally that I was selfish at some point, taking the music for granted and not appreciating what I had in front of me and making it about myself and not making it about my band members and not making it about the audience that we were trying to please. And music is such a sensitive thing, and the way that you're able to bring people together and just provide such a safe place for people that probably don't usually have that safe place to go to. I think it's honestly such a beautiful thing. But what would you say have been some of your favorite moments, or just what's your favorite part about being in the band?
Oh, Joe, do you want to lead with this
Yeah,
one?
sleepovers after the show, just hanging out, just like
Yeah.
it's such a weird thing to think about. Like you said, music is so precious and everything, but like there's not really any other art form that is a group effort like a band is. It is like we often see ourselves and try and present ourselves and navigate through our relationships like we're a family,
Yeah.
because that's what literally we are. Like we're essentially at the end of the day five strangers that became friends and decided to make art together, and that is like, I don't know, to me that's more special than like any family relationship I've ever had with like blood family and stuff like that. It's like this is magical, that so just getting to enjoy the moments after the hard work where we get to like hang out with each other and just be like, wow, we're fucking doing this. This is crazy. So
Yeah.
my favorite part is the downtime afterwards.
Yeah, and I will say that too, because like Joe said, there's no other relationship like this. Like, yeah, we very much have a family dynamic, but at the end of the day, like these are my best friends. And like when we first started this, we knew we all loved music. And when we got into the band, we did like Joe especially had that business mindset that like we want to make this our career, we want to do this for the rest of our lives. So of course, there are the hard like management and booking and marketing aspects that come along with it. But because we are so close, we are able to keep each other in check and never lose sight of like having fun, but also taking it serious. But really and truly, like these are my best friends. And we, a lot of the times when we're on stage, have these moments where we'll look at each other and laugh if something happens, or even just in the moment. Like there's one older song called Show Off. I think that's like our very first song we ever wrote. And just in practicing it all the time, Eric, our original drummer, there's one part where he's like, you have to like go like, woo, or give a yell or something like that. Cause like it's just that build up and it just feels right. And so I started doing it in practice, and then that just carried over into our stage performance. Like anytime we played that song, right before that part, I would turn around and look at him behind the drums, and we both would go, woo, like right into the drop. And it's just having fun, like in the moment, in the writing, the playing, the going on the road together. It's having fun, but it's also like Joe said, the day-to-day boring stuff. We still enjoy each other's company and can have fun with it. And
That
that's
is
the best.
that's the most important part, though, is being able to still have that relationship and to be there for each other as friends. Because when it starts being all about the music is when it stops being fun. You have
Yeah.
to be able to still be best friends and still be able to trust each other. And it's insane how you can be closer to people that aren't even actually blood family than you are with your actual blood family. And
Oh, yeah.
it's beautiful, like getting to see you guys right now and see your dynamic, how you're both able to kind of bounce off of each other. Or even Joe, seeing you smile whenever Callie's telling a story and knowing that I can see you like playing the
Oh, yeah.
memory in your head,
Reliving
like
it.
exactly. And that right there is probably the most beautiful thing about this. And that's why I'm so glad that I'm able to have you guys on here right now. But is there any advice that you could give to any upcoming artists or any band out there who may be listening right now?
Ooh, I think my biggest takeaway is if it's something you love to do, fucking do it. Don't let anyone tell you no. Don't get caught up in your own insecurities or fears or whatever that's holding you back. If you truly enjoy it and it brings you so much happiness and joy, fucking do it. And
Yeah.
keep doing it until you don't get that feeling anymore.
If you want to do it that badly, like if you love music and you're thinking about starting a band, you've already made like the first decision. And from there, it's just like it will come together if it is meant to come together, and just keep going. Just, and another thing too, especially for smaller bands or somebody who's never been in a band, this is Callie and I's first band,
Yeah.
like ever. We didn't even start it until we were almost in our 30s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go to your local shows, go to your local venues,
Yes.
meet the people in the scene, talk to people, because you're like, oh man, where am I going to find a bassist? Go to a show. There's probably 10 bassists at the show. Like, go talk to people and just see who you vibe with and see, you know what I mean? Like, bands break up all the time. They readjust. Like somebody might be on the market in a month. It just, go hang out, go be part of it.
That, and like there will always be hardships. It's never an easy road. Don't let those hardships stop you or hold you back. Like Joe said, if it's something you really want and you really get a lot of passion and like feel fulfilled off of it, don't let those hard times stop you. Keep going.
I love that dramatic zoom that your camera just
did.
That
was so perfectly like timed.
I have no idea how that happened. I'm not even touching this, but okay, sure.
Viral moment.
Oh man.
Said that right there.
That right there. And man, honestly, the advice that you're giving right now is honestly something I can resonate with, because like I said, like I was in a band too at some point, right? But if I'm being honest, I really fucked up because I didn't show appreciation to my bandmates the same way I should have. And I started getting fucked up on mushrooms all the time and getting in my head and like not being as like present and in the moment with them as I should have been. So like even from what you're saying about, like go and meet somebody else. There's other people out there that play music. Like that's something I've been trying to bring myself to do more now. I just feel like I'm at a point where I'm trying to rebuild again and like figure out who I am. And I still love the music, right? But at some point I stopped loving it once I started to lose focus of what was going on. And honestly, that's kind of why I really enjoy the Refocus Reframe EP. It's because that's exactly where I'm at now in my life, is trying to refocus and reframe. But I mean, as we wrap up here, I am a little curious to what do you think, like, or let me ask that a different way. How do you plan on making this year more impactful than the previous years before?
Oh, well, I will say like a lot of the refocus, lyrics and stories, like I said, I mean, some of those shit came straight out of my like childhood diary. So it was a lot of emotions that I have been harboring and thinking on and really dealing with for years and years and years. And a lot of the new stuff that we're currently working on is still very, very heavily driven by my emotions and what has been going on in recent years. But I feel like because the wounds are still fresh, there's a lot more kind of oomph behind it. So I'm very curious to see the direction that goes and what the response is to it and how people can resonate, because it is, I mean, I always want people to relate to the music, but especially the shit we're writing right now, it's very current. So we shall see.
That like I'm just super stoked we're currently in like a little bit of a writing hiatus right now. Like we're not playing any live shows. We're just focusing on writing new songs, bringing them to the band, and just making a whole new pile of music. And I think honestly, and I'm not even trying to do like toot my own horn or anything or whatever, the band's horn or whatnot, but it's just like I think this is going to be some of the best stuff that we've ever created. Because we are in a completely different place with this more experience and a better plan of what's going on, and adult eyes. We're getting close to, I'm in my mid-30s, Callie's almost in her mid-30s. Like, from where we were when we wrote these songs years ago, it's like our heads are in totally different places now. So just writing this music, I think, is going to be some of the most important stuff that we do.
For sure.
Wow. That's awesome. Wow. Well, I do want to say thank you guys for even giving me the time of day to sit down and talk with you
Yeah,
and
of
just
course.
Oh my
be
God.
able to
Of
pick
course.
your brains. And honestly, this is one of the most genuine sit downs I've had recently. So thank you so much. It has brought me joy to even be here and just see your dynamic together as a band. So I do this with every guest, and I'm going to do it with you now. This is the last question that I ask at the end of every interview. Both of you, name 3 things that you're grateful for right now.
Ooh. Okay. 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 I think
All right,
Okay.
while you think, I'm good.
go.
I just cleaned my house because my in-laws are coming over, so I'm grateful that I have a really clean house. But they're not coming over, and it's still clean, so it's a win, you know.
Oh yeah.
I have 3 different musical projects with 3 different groups of people that are all very different, all very dear to me. So I'm very grateful for that expression. Um, I don't know. And I'm just grateful to be alive and experience and be able to create. I work with kids who may never speak a word in their life. And I find it incredibly grateful that I can come home and scream a ballad in my office studio. So, yeah, I'm very grateful that I get to create things.
Yeah. I definitely share that same sentiment because mine, I immediately was like, okay, I'm thankful that I'm still here. I'm still alive. Never sought that all the way through, and we're still here to be able to create. I'm thankful for music, which is why I'm here in the first place and keeps me going because it is, if I'm not making music, I'm listening music. It's like 24/7. I got some sort of something going on. So just having that, I'm always grateful. And then lastly is just like my voice and being able to do it and use my voice, to raise awareness with situations and write music that people can relate to and just connect with my friends, my family, strangers, people, whoever. I'm very grateful that I have this gift.
Well, Callie and Joe, I want to say thank you again so much for your time. Congratulations on all the success. And I hope to hear from you guys very soon as you start working on the new EP, the new album. And if you guys are ever in Texas, please let me know. But with that being said, that's going to wrap up this edition of the Rebel Radio podcast. My name is Ashton Holloway, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.